Hello, it is March 10th, 2023. This week in Lansing, we voted on four different abortion-related bills. The first one was a repeal of a prohibition on advertising for abortion remedies, which includes abortion pills, which is very relevant for today's age. The second was a full repeal of the prohibition on abortion that we have in the state of Michigan. The third was repeal of the sentencing guidelines for abortion and death of a female from an abortion. And lastly, there was a repeal for selling of drugs used to produce an abortion. Now, I'm not going to go into why I opposed all those and a lot of the flaws that are in them. I actually have an official YouTube page now, and I put all my speeches up there that I have on the floor. So if you want to see commentary on that, please feel free to check out that other YouTube page. It's just if you just search Senator Thomas Albert official, it should pop right up. But I did want to talk about something that really surprised me throughout this entire process. What I thought was going to happen. Obviously, the Democrats took majority, at the last election. So November, December, January, I had time to kind of think about what I thought the Dems were going to do with the state's abortion-related laws. And what I was expecting to happen was a repeal of a lot of the laws that we have and replacing them with what was the Democrats called over the last two terms the Reproductive Rights Act. So that was a bill package that they introduced to basically rewrite Michigan's abortion laws, and I thought that's what was going to happen. That's not what happened. What we saw was these four bills were simply just repealers. There was nothing new that was in them. They simply were just stripping out our current abortion laws that we have on those four different topics. This is pretty significant because what we're doing is we're not going back to the laws that we had in place, just last summer when we lived in the pre-Roe era. I should say the pre-Dobbs era, when we lived during the era of when Roe v. Wade was the law of the land. We're in a very, very different spot in the state of Michigan right now. We went from, yes, abortion was legal, but really anything after 24 weeks was extremely rare. Now we're living in a world where after Prop 3 and after the repeal of these laws, there's not really going to be anything. Anything up until the moment of birth, there's not going to be any laws or regulations preventing an abortion. Another thing that I think is interesting, and again, this is just my opinion, so I don't know how things are going to actually turn out. It's more of a prediction. I had a committee earlier this week, and Attorney General Dana Nessel was in there, and I asked a question about language that the governor had throughout all the budgets in her executive recommendation, which basically stated none of these state funds can be used to interfere with anybody's right to have an abortion. That's basically what the language said. So I asked the Attorney General, do you think this language is going to prevent you from being able to enforce laws like our parental consent laws or partial birth abortion ban and things of that nature? And the Attorney General started to go down this road of, we're going to have to wait and see. I think, she kind of alluded to a lot of these laws are probably going to be struck down in the courts. And I kind of walked it back and I said, no, I'm not asking for your thoughts on how abortion laws are going to play out in the courts. I'm asking if you think that this specific language is going to prevent you from doing your job. I was actually trying to flesh out a separation of powers issue. But I think one thing that was telling just from that conversation is it's very likely that we're going to see many, if not possibly all, of our abortion laws struck down through the courts. Instead of the legislature just repealing and replacing everything, maybe we're going to repeal what we need to, and everything else will just be erased through the courts. So I don't really know how it's going to play out, but that seems to be a likely course of action right now. So again, it's been a sad week for Michigan history, especially for pro-life advocates like myself. but we have to keep the faith. God is really in charge. So, it was a sad week. Um, we just got to stay positive, keep praying, and keep trying what we can do to protect the sanctity of life here in the state of Michigan. So I appreciate all of your time, and thank you, and God bless.